5 easy questions every hypnotist needs to use so they can help their clients be the most successful. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through 5 different points to help you make sure your clients are going to be really successful, which makes you really successful as a professional hypnotist. Numbers 1 through 4 are questions you're going to ask yourself as you're going through the consultation. And number 5 is a question that you answer during the first session. Number 1 is this a problem that hypnosis can really help with? That's a very important question because as hypnotists, when we do free consultations or we talk to people, there's a lot of things that they bring up to us that may not be a good fit for hypnosis. So how do you know if their problem is something that you can work on and be very successful at in hypnosis? Here's some criteria for you. 1, it's anything that is worsened by stress, which means it has an emotional component. Number 2, it's a bad habit or a behavior. Usually those are also based in negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, and negative emotions that people want to be distracting from. And number 3, it's obviously an emotional thing. So people having too much fear, too much sadness, grief, hopelessness, guilt, anything like that. People with low or not enough self-esteem, confidence, or worthiness. These are all really great things to work on in hypnosis, and hypnosis is very effective for all the things listed. Here are a few things that if you are presented with this, you should probably not take this client. Not because there's anything wrong with the client, but hypnosis is just not able to really work on these things and cause improvement. These people that I'm about to list with these kinds of symptoms need psychiatrists and psychologists and other mental health professionals to help them. So anybody with any kind of abnormal thinking disorder where they are experiencing any kind of delusions, hallucinations, dementia, or maybe even a lot of times OCD symptoms. Those people are going to need to talk to somebody else because those are not really emotional or belief disorders. They are thought disorders. I hope that really helps. So let's move on to number 2 in the 5 easy questions you'd use to make sure your clients get the most success. Number 2 is during the consultation, you need to ask yourself, does this person know the real truth about hypnosis? You have to make sure that you are communicating very well to them everything that hypnosis is and it isn't, because there's so much misinformation out there in TV, movies, media. It's being produced continually all the time. Tons of misinformation about how hypnosis is mind control. People go into trances. They don't have any power or control. They forget. They can be manipulated into doing things that they don't want to do. Hypnosis is simply none of those things. And your clients are coming into your office with these subconscious beliefs. I know I was told when I was a youngster and I went on a vacation with my parents, my mother told me, don't listen to anything the hypnotist says. You can watch, but don't follow the directions because it's not safe. My mother thought it was not spiritually safe for me to be hypnotized. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So as you do your consultations, number 2 is, do my potential client here, do they know the truth about hypnosis? And it's your job in the consultation or that first interaction that every time you have an opportunity, you set the record straight so people, you're spreading the good truth about hypnosis and making it much more socially acceptable. And so this client that you're talking to can have the most success, because if they have any of these misperceptions or fears or worries, they're not going to be able to achieve the successes that they would if you were to clear them away, simply because of not understanding what hypnosis really is. Number 3 is, this process is going to bring up emotions. Is that okay with you, potential client? I ask this every single time I do a consultation, because the language of the subconscious is emotions. And all the things I listed in step number 1, question number 1, have negative belief and then negative emotions as the root cause of the problems. Even just things that are worsened with stress are emotional. So emotions are absolutely the root cause. The negative emotions are the root cause to most people's problems. All of the problems people are going to be coming to you with, emotions that come from negative beliefs or unhelpful or unhealthy beliefs, and the negative emotions that result. So in order to address and be 100% successful at removing that problem or helping my client remove that problem permanently, they need to be okay with talking about emotions, feeling those emotions, being vulnerable, because hypnosis, one of the things you're going to cover in number 2 is hypnosis isn't truth serum. You cannot make somebody tell you something they don't want to tell you. It's not mind control. You can't make them take on the changes that you're suggesting. They have to actively participate and accept those suggestions. So they've got to be okay with feeling those feelings. If they're okay with that, actually, I just get their permission. I describe everything that I've just described and I say, is that okay with you? That this process leads you through feeling those feelings for the purposes of removing them. They never have to make you feel that same way again. Is that okay with you? And I get their consent. Number 4, are you willing to follow my instructions? Because the truth about hypnosis is that it is consensual, meaning that it is not something that I do to somebody. It is not something where it is done to somebody. It is something that 2 people do together. I, as the hypnotist, act as a guide, a coach, and I provide space and opportunity by my suggestions for my clients to make the changes that they came to me for. They have to actively participate in that process for them to receive those changes. I cannot just talk and suddenly someone's life will be different. It's sort of like, I think of it as a student in a classroom. A student in a classroom, being in that classroom does not mean that they're going to learn anything. They have to actively engage in the process, which means my clients also have to actively engage. They have to follow my instructions and they have to be able to accept my suggestions. They have to be able to trust that I'm going to give them the suggestions that they're there for. And so they have to be willing to follow my instructions in hypnosis, but also they need to be able to follow my instructions out of hypnosis, meaning I can't be with them during the week when they should be doing the homework that I assign them. Working with me, I assign my clients homework. There's reading and education, there's videos to watch, and there's lots of self-hypnosis to practice because I like to empower my clients with self-hypnosis so that they can maintain the success and the gains they've received with me forever. And so they have to be practicing their self-hypnosis. That's part of following my instructions. If they are not willing to do that, then I can't guarantee their success because it is a process where we work together to help them achieve success. It is not magical. I cannot just talk and make them change against their will. They have to actively engage in the process. So, are they willing to follow my instructions in hypnosis and out of hypnosis? Number 5 comes after you've accepted this person as your client and they're there with you in your first session. But I'll tell you a little secret, a little advanced tip to all you hypnotists out there. I ask this question every single session. And I practice the kind of hypnosis where there's always a clear beginning and always a clear end. And my clients know that. My clients really like that because they always know what to expect. But this is the question that I ask before we start hypnosis every single session, but especially in that first session. Would you like to do hypnosis with me now? I ask it just like that. And if I don't get an enthusiastic yes, if I don't get that with my clients, then something's amiss. I need to figure out what their worry, fear, concern, or misperception is, because that's probably what's going on. Once I have done all those other things I've mentioned previously in this video, and I ask that question, 9 times out of 10, they say, yeah, let's get to it because I've gotten rid of all their worries and fears. And so that makes the first session and all the hypnosis sessions thereafter so much more effective because my clients have zero fear and worry about closing their eyes and following my instructions because they feel like They are always empowered with their own free will to make the choice, and they know that they have power and they can say no. And I hope that really helps you. If you make sure to do those first 4 things in every consultation and number 5 in every session of hypnosis, no matter how many you do, you will have much more success with your clients. I hope that helps. And I also want to invite you to visit my website. On that website, you can find about my ongoing trainings. I train 4 times a year. I've recorded this video in August 2022. My next actual training is coming up in September of 2022. I invite you to go find out more about that training, how you can get NGH certification. You can become 5-path, 7-path certified in my training, all in one class, 7 short days. You can become a professional hypnotist just like me